Good morning and welcome. Today is Tuesday, July 29th, and my name is Denise Cowell, and I'm a Creative Memories Advisor in Ormond Beach, Florida. And today we are working on project recipe 30 from the 52 weeks of scrapbooking. So let's take a look at my desk. Some tips I want to give you on this one and a little bit of explanation. So it is natural disposition if you're looking on my Facebook group. If you have the book, Project Recipe 30, Riveting Collection, we always take a quick peek to make sure that the cutting guides are the same. And I just added a little note because depending on the type of the border that you're using, A should be about 1 by 12. So if you're using a chain border and it punches out, that's good. But here I used an edge style, so we cut that out at 1 inch. Everything else looks to be the same. So let's take a look, because I did do this one with natural disposition a while ago. Because I added pictures at the bottom, you don't see that design as much as you do in this one. All right, so I wanted to explain first of all how you're doing this, and it kind of looks harder than it is, but we're going to make sure that we cut it correctly. So this is basically what we're going to be cutting. And I have some notes going, you don't want it to be cut this way. We need to cut it this way. And there's a few things in here that I'm going to change it up a little bit. So this piece at the bottom, these are going to be G, H, and I, J, K, and L, and we're going to have to watch our directions, right? So once you cut this, we cut our two ends off. These are going to be reversed. Now, O, P, Q, R, S, T, I am going to do out a black shimmer, but we are going to cut it this way. And what's going to happen is then when we put them onto this page, that is how we create that bottom border. So you kind of have a base here. So if you wanted to and you wanted to save some paper, you could kind of save this, but this makes it easy to line up at. So what we're going to do is just make sure that when we cut these ones, and if you're using directional paper, that you're cutting them the right direction. So what I'm using today is I am going to use one of the collections. Sorry, I forgot which one I was using. This is Magic Awaits. And what I am going to do and what we need, I'm going to put these to the side so we can refer back to them later. We're going to need 2 sheets for our background. Now, in the riveting, they use the same 2 sheets for the background. In natural disposition, they use different ones. So I am actually going to be using 2 different ones. It's my red and my yellow, and I might change them up. And then you need 3 other sheets of paper. Now, in the book, they all are designer paper, so they've used 5 designer papers. In the original one, we do have 1 cardstock. Okay, so for me, I'm going to use black shimmer as my number 1. And I am going to use a punch, but I was thinking I might want to use some of the laser borders instead of cutting a border. So that's something that we're going to see. So you're going to need a border. And I'm not going to cut that right yet. I will cut the mats, but I'll wait. I'll have enough because I'll have 3 inches left over, or 4 inches actually. So that'll be fine. Designer paper number 2. So that is going to be this big one at the bottom. So you're going to have to like both sides. Otherwise, we'll have to cut a different piece. So you like both sides of those. Plus, it's going to be 2 of these 3 by 3s in the middle. And then your designer paper number 3. Actually, I'm going to, sorry. The designer paper number 3 is my black shimmer. Let me just think about that. Yes. And now I have to decide if I'm using this black one for number 1 or the black shimmer. This is my paper number 2, and I've already got it lined up to say what I want to do to cut the top of it. So I need to think that which one do I want to use for my mats and which ones do I want to use for the bottom. Okay, so let's get started. I think what I'm going to do is I will do number 1, my mats and my borders out of the black shimmer. My tone on tone, which will be this big piece here, I'm going to do this stripes, and it's got stripes and stars. And then the other one that is going to be going this way is going to be this black fireworks plus 2 3x3. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's get started cutting, and I'll keep this one close and I'll move this out of the way. Again, we can refer back to this, and we will need our trimmer. So again, I'm not going to cut my borders right now. You can cut 2 borders again. So if you're using a chain, you can just cut that out. These ones, they used a knockout. So you can use any type of border. It's going to be about 1 inch depending on what type of border that you use. So I'm not going to cut number 1 right now because those are going to be the mats. Let's go and figure out how to cut these chevrons that are going along the bottom. Let's call it a chevron. So this is the top of my paper. Okay, so I know I want to rotate it this way, and we are going to cut it at 3 1/2. So 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and then 2 3x3s. This piece extra, and we'll put that to the side. So let me cut my 2 3x3s. It's 1 and 2, and then this piece is extra also. So let's read the instructions. So this is how my paper, this is how I wanted mine to go, and this is what you need to think about now that they're going across the pages. Right, so let's think about how you want this and what your pattern is. You may want to line your pattern up. You know, do I need it to go this way? See that what the black does, right? So you have to kind of look at how you want this to go. So let's say I want to do that way across my page. So now what it says for pieces G, H, and I. So it says for G, H, and I, first cut a 3 1/2 by 12-inch strip. Place the strip on the 12-inch trimmer at a 45-degree angle. So 45-degree angle, and it's saying 2 inches, which is exactly where this lineup is. See this line here? I think these instructions came out when the 12-inch trimmer came out. So if you line this up at the 45-degree angle, where this dotted line is, that's the 2 inches. So we're going to line it up there, and it says to create your corner G. Okay, so we're going to create G, right? So this way. Now it says rotate the same strip and repeat for the other corner to create I. But this is where we need to watch that we're cutting this the right direction, right? So we've already cut this one. So that is correct, and we're just going to have to pay attention to that. So this is correct. So now we want to cut off the end, again, lining the corner up at 45, the dotted, left-hand dotted, which should be about the 2 inch. You know you're lined up then. Let's make sure I keep this straight. And that is my first one. Okay, so now it says repeat the cut for J, K, and L, but first turn the strip to the reverse side before cutting. So I'm going to cut it on the star side. So again, I'm lining that up. It is along the edge. I'm at this dotted line. That's the one. We're going to reverse it. I always like to make sure it's going the right way. So yes, we're good. Because I don't have a lot of this paper. Okay, so now if I put those down, let's get these out and put these back together. There we go. I have that one for one side. Let's just lay these out so we can see it as we're going. I'm going to turn these over to be the stars, and I'll have my choice now if I want the stars or the stripes. I had them in the wrong corner here. There we go. There we go. And that, we've got the start of the bottom of our page coming, right? So now what we're going to do is we are going to take designer paper number 3. And it's not, so I just want to make sure that because I have this paper has borders on it, I want to make sure that I'm cutting this side so that I can use it again and like use that back in the future. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just let me see. I just want to see, you know, if I cut off 7, oh, that would be good. That'll give me all of these ones. So let's cut it this way. So we're going to cut a 2-inch. So I'm doing a 2 by 12 for O, P, and Q, and a 2-inch for R, S, and T. And then we're going to cut a 3-inch, and we're going to cut this into 2 3 by 3s. This is extra, so put that to the side. Cut this 3 by 3. This 1 and 2. This one goes to the side. Let me just put my arm in because we're not going to need this. Now let's read how it says to do these two. So again, what we're trying to do is to get these 2 pieces that are going to go in here. And again, because this is cardstock, you know, I can turn it over and use it on both sides, but we have a direction, so we need to pay attention to that. So let's get the directions out and let's see what this says for us to do. So we have our 2 by 12. We're going to line it along the 45-degree angle where the bottom is going to be at the 7-inch mark. Okay, so there we're going to line it up, and all we're doing right now is going to be cutting this in half. Okay, so now that it says is you're going to cut it in 2 halves. So now we're going to line them up, and they're not quite in half, right? So pay attention to that. You can see they're not quite in half. So we want to make sure that these are going to be the same size. So I am going to line up the short edge to the cutting here. So if we go here, stack the halves together to make the next cut. Line the strip up again at the 45-degree angle. And, you know, I'm going to make a little mark on the underneath one. I have my white gel pen here so that I can see where actually that corner is. There we go. Okay, so we're going to line this up again. So we're going to line that up. Again, it's going to, that's where it says here, you know, the 2-inch mark of the trimmer. That's where it's saying here's where it's going to be 2 inches. So you're basically lining up this straight edge is at 3.5. Okay, and then we'll cut those off. And then this one of these is going to be O. We're going to keep that. One is extra. One is O for this part here. Okay, so we have 2 pieces. So let's see where these 2 go. So these 2 aren't going to fit on this side. These 2 will fit on this side. Okay, so we have those 2 pieces. And we're going to come back and play and see which way we like it. So now let's see what it says to do the other one. Repeat R, S, and T, but first turn it over. So we're going to line this up at 7 inches. 7 inches, cut it in half, put those 2 together. I am going to line this up at my shortest piece of paper. This will be lined up at 3.5, and then that'll make sure that I have it the same. And we'll cut those off. One of these again is going to be R. We're going to keep that to the side. Okay, so let's cross our fingers, because what should happen when I turn these over, they should fit on this side, and they do. So just as long as you've got your directions and that you're turning it properly, we should be good to go. So now I want to see if I like it this way, or, you know, do I want the stars with the stripes? And now I'm going to have to move these black pieces over there. So you'll have some, you know, depending on what you have on the back. And again, maybe the back of these, I can't use the back of mine because it was those borders, but maybe you like the back of it. So you can change these up to whichever way that you would like it to be. Let's leave it just like that for now, and then we'll attach those. So I did not, again, cut those two borders, A and B. Let's take a look at what I have left. And I was thinking that I always buy 2 packages of these. We live close to Disney, go to Disney quite a bit. I was thinking I might, and actually do like that. So instead, I might use these. So take a look before you cut the borders. Like, what do you have for borders? Sorry, the bottom's off camera there. So I think I do like those. The other, I've used that one. I've used that one. This one, let's have a look. Since I have it out, let's take a look at these ones. They're stuck on the paper. Because I also have these ones I can choose from. Oh, which might be good too. Or I still have these balloons left. The ones that I have 2 of, because some of them I don't have 2. I do have 2 hearts. I must have had a 3rd package because I know I've used those. Who knows, I could have had 4 packages of these, which wouldn't be. So I could use that, but to me, I'm thinking this is more of like a top border somewhere because it has the clouds. So I'm going to use one of these 2. So the only thing I haven't done is cut the mats. So I'm going to go back to my black shimmer, and we need 4 4x6 mats. Now, I did go and look and see if I had any mat cards left, and I didn't. I must have used all of those up also. So let's cut this up 4. And this at 4. And actually, I could have possibly cut these at 4 1/4 so that I could fit a 4x6 picture. But let's just do this because I think we have to put those 3x3s in between. Okay, so let's look how to finish this one up. So we have our 4x6 mats on the outside, and I was hoping, since I used a black pattern, that I would still be able to go with the black shimmer mats. I don't know which one I like yet. Let me know. Why don't you leave me a comment when you watch this? Which of these borders do you like better? Or I could actually even just get the border maker, but I'm thinking, you know, the one that is like this has more color. So now we're going to get our 3x3s. And again, you can use either side. Now my problem is going to be, and let's see what they did. They used kind of combination, but these are black, right? So I've got black and black. I can't use the reverse of these. It might be too dark. We'll see. I'll put it down right now. Because, you know, I do have this little strip left that is 6 inches that I could cut in half, and I'm going to actually do that. I'm thinking, because I have so much black, just make sure this is 6 inches. Yes, it's 6 inches. I'm looking there. I can cut this piece in half. Make sure it's straight because my trimmer is wobbly. And then I could have one of each of those. So again, take a look at your paper. Because I had so much black, we could go this way. And then what we have is we have these 2 black pieces left, and one of them's supposed to go here, which again, might not go so well. But this one that goes here would be fine. That one would be fine. And you know, I could actually put it here too instead of over here. Right, so that's what I have, my 2 4x6s, my 2 middles, right, and then decide on what other embellishments you want. And this page is, once I get my pictures on, this page is kind of loud. My paper's kind of loud. My embellishments. You might just want some titles. A title down here, right there. They have a title down here, a title in the middle, some kind of there. If we go back to mine, I may have done it pretty close. I did put my story with it's all about the mask, because this is all of us with the mask, and just a little title here. But like I said again on this one, because I put extra pictures down here, I kind of lost some of the pattern at the bottom. So that was fun. I'd love to see your completed layouts. You can post those in my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook group. Don't forget, leave me a comment. Tell me which one, sorry, let's go back to my desk. Tell me which one of these borders that you like better. Leave me a comment, and thanks for joining me again. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you haven't been following my Facebook groups, please do that also. And thanks. Happy scrapping. We'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.